Hey, welcome to Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll. I'm Sergeant First Class Retired David O. Parker. Remember, we do this for a YouTube channel and a podcast. That's why the microphone's in front of my face, right? So, this is the fourth episode of Forgotten Truckers, a book that I wrote based on journals and memories from the 2003 liberation of Iraq. So we started out with me volunteering in Fort Drum and getting that crazy packing list of, here, take your OD green blanket. What? Is this World War II? All the way to Fort Bliss to deal with the training down there, which was, though using the word training is not fair to what it was. Into Kuwait and the scud attacks and the butt cans. And the sergeant major saying, get out of formation. All the way to now we've gotten our trucks, 11 Bravos and infantry guys driving trucks. And we're at Camp Exxon. No theme here in gas stations, right? In Iraq. And we've woken up from a nap at about 20:30, according to the journal. And everybody's gone. It's just gone. It's just us. 16 trucks, 15 trucks, gone. Nobody. We're by ourselves. That's what we talked about in the previous episodes. Now, remember, me and the 214 staff sergeant aren't getting along very well because I'm sort of aggressive and he was a nice going guy. But we've made a plan that if nobody comes and gets us by tomorrow morning, we're just going to go out there on that MSR, haul butt north, and find somebody. But luckily for us, we didn't have to wait long. Now, of course, we weren't too afraid. I mean, okay, we were. We were like, what the hell is going on? So let's jump into the journals. Let's jump into the book. All right? We already talked for 2 minutes. Fun, right? Here we go. So this is April 6th, entry 2235. A truck came to get us to go pick up Charlie Company, 2nd of the 187th Infantry, and move them north to what's being called Camp Exxon. Camp Shell to Camp Exxon. Woo, that's a whole lot of people thinking up gas stations. So we go off to be with 187, right? This is 22:30 at night, so 10:30 at night. So here's the next entry. There's really nothing to talk about because the next entry explains what happened. I worked all night loading this damn truck with Class 3, sheets of wood and sandbags and bunkers. This first sergeant wants everything, all ammo cases, all crates, everything. What a pain. Stop the entry. He did not want to leave anything behind that the Iraqis might be able to use to fight. He didn't want to leave anything behind, nothing. Now, as a old E5, I was looking at him going, who gives a damn about a piece of wood and who cares about an ammo case? Now, as the retired guy, I sort of get it. I sort of understand what he was doing. I'm not a fan of his technique, but that's not my place, right? I'm back in the entry. Okay, convoy area ahead. Then we're going to move 170 clicks north. Okay, let's go. We just rolled through the cut. You know, that area that Saddam said if we pass, he will gas us? Well, we're still here. We are a little late. Third ID is actually ahead of us, but the 101st is behind us. And I never thought a convoy would get somewhere ahead of the infantry. End of entry. So, according to my notes, we've now approximately traveled 1,500 miles between getting our trucks in Kuwait and where we're at. And we're just done another 170, but see, it's not going to really be like that, all right? You get no breaks, and we're tired and dirty, and we laughed when we crossed the cut because Saddam's going to stop us. You know, that night I worked all night long while my PFC slept. Does it make sense? You know, when I was there at that time, I was pissed about it. I'm like, if two of us worked, we get this done. In hindsight, I guess it was a good idea because one of us was not wore out tired come the next morning. Okay, so be it. Next entry. Same day, April 7th. Wow, got a beautiful picture of it. Wheat, fields, and palm trees. It's an oasis. It's beautiful. Stop the entry. Remember, we had just gone from Kuwait up through Iraq. That area of Kuwait through the cut is just ugly. Well, you know, it's just a desert. It's just a sand, rotten desert. Not my favorite place in the world. If you love deserts, I'm sorry, but I don't. And it's just garbage. And then you get there, and then this back in the entry. The oasis is beautiful. We downloaded the truck, then headed back 70 clicks to get more troops from 1st Battalion, 187th Infantry. A sandstorm has stopped the air assault. Now we are going to go get them. and take them to Camp Thunder. Okay, we get to Camp Thunder and sent back to Exxon to get more troops, and then we go up to Shell, and then we go. The bottom line is, and I'm out of the entry. Okay, sent back to Camp Exxon, then back to another camp. 4 trips. Dang glad to be off the truck. 187 is all here. We need some sleep. End of entry. So we took Charlie 287 up, and then 15 trucks go and move an entire battalion to Camp Thunder. You think that took one trip? No, of course not. Took several trips. 70 clicks each direction. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That was part of our life. Now, the notes talk about this day was nonstop, 22:30 until 1700 the next day. Moving units via the truck is very slow for sure. Sometimes we would get them in one location, then immediately be sent to another. That happened a lot. We'd take you to point A, they get a radio call, go to point B, go to point C, drop them off. Hey, you guys go back. Now, wait a minute. Time out. Now, you understand what I'm telling you? We don't have a map. There's not a map in a single truck. There's no radio. Nothing. We don't exist. And we're dropping off your company, First Sergeant, Commander, and you're telling us to go back to a point that if we don't remember exactly how to get there, we're FUBAR. We're lost. We're fucked. Does that make sense to you? We have no way to communicate. We have no radios, no nothing. Just go. I'm telling you what, if we weren't good at finding a way around, we'd have been in big trouble. And we were tired. I remember, it's probably later on in the book, but this is one of my most clear memories of this whole mission was being so tired that at night I hallucinated a tank drove out in front of me, a tank, and I swerved this 5-ton to not hit the tank. I could have thrown 30 soldiers across the freaking MSR. Nobody ever checked on us. Nobody ever said, hey, are you guys tired? Why would they? I'm thinking back, as a platoon sergeant, I don't know how many times I ever checked on the truck driver. I don't know how many times I ever looked into finding what's going on. It's funny, those transportation units, they had their mission, but nobody was accounting for us. One of the biggest challenges, I'm looking at the notes, one of the biggest challenges we had to deal with in driving these soldiers was we had to learn how to hide our food and our water, because if you had it in the back of the truck, it was all gone. Every bit was eaten by the time you got wherever you're going. They left you the trash. That was nice. They gave you a nice tip. Here's all the garbage. But they ate everything. They drank every bit of water. And half the time they'd leave piss bottles in the back of the truck for you. I'm not bashing them. It's just what it was, right? So we learned how to store things under the truck with bungee cords, and we figured out how to put boxes, right? They're my fellow infantrymen, regardless that we'd eat anything found in the truck. Now, we get to Camp Exxon on our third rotation, and we were able to sleep on the vehicles. We used the tarps as hammocks, right? And I slept well. I remember sleeping great because we're in the middle of the 1st Battalion 187 Infantry AO. I don't think you could have been much safer. It was a far cry from where we were the night before, and it was definitely a far cry from the last time I had a nap, which was out in the middle of the desert, woke up all by myself. So the 187, they sort of helped us out. Now, let's talk about that some more, right? Let me go ahead and do something stupid. Let me get my phone here. Let's do a little math. So we did 170 clicks the first gig, the first mission, right? After working all night, 170 clicks. And then we went 70 back and 70 up, and then 70 back and 70 up. So that's 450 clicks of driving, right? Now, 1.6 clicks is a mile. So that day in a 5-ton, we drove at least 280 miles. Now, when you're driving from Colorado Springs to Cheyenne in your 1-ton pickup truck, leather and air conditioning, it's no big deal. When you're driving 280 plus miles in a 5-ton that has a seat that sucks, full of soldiers in the back, and you're not sleeping, it's a little bit different. It's a whole lot of FUBAR. It's a whole lot of messed up, from the floor up to the neck up to the check up. It's bad juju. But we handled it. All right? Let's move on to April 8th. Entry 0730. Okay, now my truck and a few others are with Bravo Company 1st of the 187, moving them to a town whose name sounds like Al-Kohala. We are following tanks up this road. We are carrying a platoon of grunts. Here we go. We arrive at the first stop. We are to hit a known military compound. At a four-way intersection, the unit grabbed 6 POWs when we stopped. We pulled security. Feels weird for me to do this while infantry dismounts the truck. Ha ha. End of entry. You know, until that moment, I'd never been that close to a tank, let alone one rolling up a road. And those machines are something to see. You know, they're amazing. This was our first mission that we were going to do, carrying troops to an objective to support them. Now, you know, the mission brief for us to support them was, we're going that way. Stop, get out. What the? Next entry. So we're at the rear of the trucks, and we have the rear security. 2 trucks are pulling rear security for a whole battalion. Sorry, back in the entry. And we are being told that we have to hold this intersection. It's just 2 5-tons and their driving crew. Explosions to our front as Bravo Company hits the compound. Within moments, there are hundreds of locals coming out from the most extensive set of apartments I've ever seen, walking towards the 4 of us. The crowd is getting pretty wound up, and I'm getting a bit nervous. End of entry. Now, these apartment buildings are the biggest things I ever seen. I'm not saying I've been all over the world, but they went on for a long time, and the people are pouring out. And there are 4 soldiers with M4, M16s behind these 2 trucks with no radios, no communication, no support. The infantry company got up and left and went and did this thing and left us to hold this road. And I'm talking about a lot of pissed off Iraqis. And I'm like, whoo, this is going to be fun. Know what I'm saying? Next entry. One of the POW's mother has come out of the crowd screaming and got the crowd going in a bad way. Really getting intense. Our weapons are no longer pointed at the ground, but raised halfway. We're waiting for what might come. End of entry. This lady was acting like any mother would. Some foreign armies rolled into her yard and snatched her kid. She's screaming and going crazy, right? The look on their face was, she was ready to kill us, and I understand. There was nothing. If the crowd would have run, there's 4 of us. The infantry company's that way. The infantry company could respond if we opened fire in seconds, but it's all it's going to take, right? It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a good thing, right? Next entry. One of the interpreters convinced the unit to release the boy. Stop the entry. I remember this boy. My 11-year-old grandson doesn't look much younger than that guy did. What? First or second mission, of course they snatched him up. They wouldn't know a freaking... I'm going to shut up and keep that opinion to myself. That kid was too young to be a challenge. That kid was too young to be a threat. This is too early in the mission for 12-year-olds to be pissed off at us. Back in the entry. They released the boy. The crowd decided to leave. So Bravo Company decided to stay in the Iraqi Army compound for the night or whatever. I took a walk around. I saw a supply room and an embassy class. It was simple yet interesting. I also walked around the biggest arms room I ever seen. End of entry. Now, walking around that compound was extremely educational because, you know, when you're training in the Army, they're showing you stuff and you're looking at stuff and it shows Russians or it shows the enemy. Well, now you're looking at murals on the wall of American soldiers. You're looking at things that make you go, wow. To them, we are the enemy. They've got sayings on the wall about killing Americans and you're receiving heaven for all this stuff. It was humbling to see this. And then we walked into an arms room. I'm reading the notes. AK-47 PALs, hundreds of them. I have never seen so many rifles in my life. I was amazed. I was in awe. I was like, wow. I was surprised that the locals hadn't come and taken all these. I know if somebody liberated America, I am definitely not leaving 4,000, I don't know if that's the number, AKs or weapons that close to my house. All right, back into the entry. We're still on the same day here. I feel better. Bravo Company first allowed me to go on a foot patrol with one of his squads. We searched 4 buildings. We found 2 truckloads of mortar rounds and a massive cache of 7.62. Felt great to do my job. Then I had to drive my truck over to pick it all up. Then I was like, well, damn. We just returned from a raid on the Bath Party building. It had a huge metal gate, and I rammed it with the truck. Then we jumped out and cleared it. That was fun. These guys can shoot. Okay, bedtime. You know what? It can be a hell of a rush, ramming a gate with a 5-ton, then watching your fellow infantry guys jump off the truck, run over your hood, and go into the building and do their thing. But that mission, I was more like a taxi driver, right? All right, next entry. 0115. One of the leaders wakes me up, asks if I want to go for a drive with him. I, along with 8 other guys, go into town, and we raid a store for cigarettes and soda. We all left like $30 on the counter. End of entry. Now, this company treated us like gold. I've always remembered them. They treated us like we were part of the team. They didn't treat us like we were some kind of detail. You know, I was apprehensive at first when we started this stuff because we didn't have enough ammo for that crowd. But I tell you what, that first sergeant really had his unit locked down. He knew everybody's names. He knew everybody. He was a hell of a guy. He actually, reading the notes, took down all our names to try to let the Army know where we were. Because who was tracking us? Right? Nobody was. He also said he wanted to put us in for some kind of recognition for all the work we were doing with his unit. We were the backbone of what was happening. We were the support. And it just, you know, got left on the side of the road later. All right, next day, 9 April. You know, I've had a smoke now and a soda. 9 April entry. Patrolling the city with the squad plus on the truck. M240 Bravo on my roof, looking for caches. We found a couple, along with a hit-and-run ambush. It didn't go well for them. It was fun to watch the brass from the 240 Bravo bouncing off the hood. The holes on the truck are small. End of entry. So, you know, watching a firefight from the cab of a 5-ton is something you got to see. If you're in the military, you got to watch that one time. It's sort of very entertaining. You know, I'm reading the notes, and we went with the squad. We did lots of different patrols. We didn't have much downtime. You know, it was an interesting place to be. Now, I was climbing on the back of the 5-ton with some mortar rounds hit the cement parking type garage we were in, and knocked me off the back of the truck and actually hit the ground. And I broke my back plate. I broke the plate, right, from the impact. But I got lucky because the unit had a couple extras, so they traded me out. Next entry. Okay, a new mission to move this company north 60 clicks to an airfield for the air assault on Baghdad. We will be 20 miles south of Baghdad, so another long convoy, but this one got exciting. While we were driving, we had to stop as an artillery unit engaged a compound ahead of us. As we sat, gunfire erupted from the village to our left. Everyone out of the trucks. More shots fired. There is something going on in the little neighborhood. A couple civilians got shot, one in the leg and one in the stomach. Our medic patched them up and sent them to the hospital. I thought the commander was going to lose his mind over this, saying it was against the RE to help wounded civilians. So, end of entry. That was confusing. It was a confusing time. You know, there was a firefight in the town that had nothing to do with us, the soldiers, and then the soldiers dismounted and went and got in a firefight because, you know, bad people were doing bad things. And it's just, we didn't know how to act. I mean, nobody had really, there wasn't a lot of us walking around with a lot of firefight experience. Next entry. Maybe his ROE, but not ours. This area was secure. We were supposed to just stand there and watch them bleed. Got back on the trucks moving north. Apaches are all around firing hellfires. Drove past an Iraqi tank was burning. Was pretty cool. Actually got a picture here. End of mission. This mission always stays with me. This is an embarrassing confession. I was tired. That's no excuse. Me and my TC, we're out of the truck. We're laying on the ground. I fell asleep. It was just for a moment. Not that that makes it any better, but I remember going like this. Ooh, fell asleep. Popped my eyes open, scared the crap out of myself. I was like, whoa, what had just happened here? My TC's, this PFC, this private's looking at me like, what the? And I'm like, whoo, man. All I thought to myself was, if I was asleep more than a second, why didn't this kid wake me up? I guess it's not his place to keep me awake, but, you know, it was for a buddy team. I swore that was never going to happen again. And I because I was afraid if somebody got hurt due to my error, I would just couldn't handle that. I'm telling you, that never happened again. Next entry. Same day. Right? We are still on the same day. Nothing. This is still 9 April. We're not like gone anywhere yet. Arrive at an airfield. Relaxing seems like no mission tomorrow, as they will be air assaulting in. We are watching helicopters fly all around the area. Tomorrow the 101st will take Baghdad. Had to find fuel after 187 got off the trucks. We got called resource leeches by a second lieutenant at one of the fuel farms. Drove to another, and we talked our way in for fuel. Then went back to the airfield. Guess we will see what happens tomorrow. End of entry. This was going to become the norm. Resource leases. Go away. Where's your unit? We don't supply you. We don't support you. We don't do that. Why are you here? No, you can't have MREs. No, we're not giving you fuel. No, you can't have ammo. No, we can't fix your tire. No, 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 no. Because they don't know who we are. I thought wearing a freaking uniform that said U.S. Army on it was enough. But no, it wasn't enough in 2003. It wasn't enough because they wouldn't support us, because they wouldn't give us stuff. So guess what? I'll tell you what. We stole it. Talk about that more later. Next entry. My truck and 3 others loaded with 2 NCOs each rolling out to secure a bridge along the main route. The unit on the airfield got word some locals are going to blow it up. We rolled to the west side of the bridge and held it for several hours, 8 soldiers, until we were told to go back by another unit taking over the area. Wow, truckers doing infantry mission along with no support. End of entry. Did you hear that? We don't work for anybody. We have no chain of command. We have no support. But somebody's bright idea was to send us. We put, myself and another NCO in the front and tasked us with a mission to go hold a bridge. 8 hours, these trucks handled this bridge. Now, am I saying it was a bridge too far? No, don't be stupid. But are you hearing what I'm saying? You're a resource leash. No, we won't give you fuel. No, we won't give you ammo. No, you're going to drive all night. No, you're going to keep doing this. And by the way, go do one of the missions for our battalion. Go over there and hold that bridge. Oh, you don't have any maps? So what? Oh, you don't have any radios? So what? Oh, you don't have anything to do anything with except your M4/M16s? So what? Go secure this bridge. Wow. Listen, as an old E5 and now a retired E7, that whole day still pisses me off. You know what really pisses me off? And this is just because I want to tell you about it. One of the staff sergeants, we had more than one, we had this artilleryman, he actually got a Bronze Star for leading that mission. He stayed in a truck. What the freak? Because, he put himself in for it. But it doesn't matter. This isn't about wards. This is about why in the hell did this unit decide? We're on an open airfield. Who's in charge? The 101st is marshaling there to air assault into Baghdad. And they have a mission. But instead of an infantry unit going and doing a mission, they gave it to the trucks. The trucks with no radios. Still pisses me off. Even as an E7. My notes, the fact that the 4 trucks got tasked to do this mission has always been mind-boggling to me. I'm sure it was a rapid solution to a problem, one of the units crawling all over this airfield like an anthill. We found a way to make it happen. We went and did it. We had no idea when we were going to get relieved. We had no idea who was supposed to mess with the bridge. We just got put on this bridge. Now, we didn't let anybody mess with the bridge. You could drive over it, but you weren't walking near it. You weren't stopping near it. You weren't parking near it. You get the hell out of here. That's the only briefing we got. Next entry. Now, me and the 214 staff sergeant are waiting for the lights to go out in one of the tents inside the wire of the people who called us leeches. We need to go shopping. End of entry. Listen, I shake my head when I think about this. We couldn't get anything. We really couldn't. The soldiers getting on off the trucks, they're not walking supply rooms. It's not like they're going to hand us half an MRE. I'm confident we broke some rules. And I'm ashamed of this part. I really am. I'm ashamed that this is what soldiers had to do to keep going. I'm ashamed that we had to sneak through wire to go get cases of water. I'm ashamed that we had to find our way into compounds to get a couple cases of MREs. It's really sad that happened. It's terrible. I can't express enough how much we begged people for support. I can't tell you how often we did anything we could to get anything because nobody gave a shit. Wearing the uniform, like I said, wasn't enough. They didn't know us. No. They didn't know us. No, forget it. They didn't care. I mean, we literally begged for supplies. I don't know what to say right now. I get so upset, so bummed by it. So, I'm reading my notes. I want you to understand that sometimes it was not a polite no. It was a raging no. And a threat. There were times we got told to get the F out of there. I was shocked at how some of the senior NCOs would talk at us. I recall, I got yelled at by a sergeant first class who pointed in my face. He actually cussed me and told me to get away from his unit. He actually told me if he saw my fucking ass again, he was going to beat the shit out of me and bury me in the desert. Because I asked him for fuel and MREs. Now the funny thing is, it even says, 2 days later I'm moving a unit. Guess who climbed into the cab of my truck? Yep, that SFC. And when he jumps in my truck, he asked me for a bottle of water. Well, I gave him the same answer. I made sure the rest of the truckers, I'm even reading it, knew who these people were. And we literally went out of our way to kill them with kindness. So, resupply was a constant, never-ending battle. 24/7 never-ending battle. You want to know why so many things disappear in the military? Well, now I can tell you why. I mean, I have no idea why they treated us like this. I mean, I really don't. We watch people they built recliners out of boxes of cases of MREs. We've seen them use them to make outlines for volleyball fields. People use them to build little huts to get out of the sun, but you ask them for one case and they told you no. There was a couple of times that we got so low on fuel we thought we were going to have to leave a truck. As a matter of fact, one time we were hooking up a truck with a chain to tow it because we were going to have to leave it behind. We couldn't get any fuel. Now, every now and then, like this first sergeant from 187, he made it 100 times easier. I mean, he really did. I wish I knew that first sergeant's name, but he walked out on the MSR and he stopped a fuel truck and he made them give us fuel. So we did every now and then have somebody hook us up. But I remember, I'm looking at the notes, I was telling you about the volleyball court. This cash unit was barbecuing and having a party. And we were literally on the other side of the concertina wire in a field, looking like POWs probably. Dirty, filthy, nasty. I mean, we didn't spend much of our water cleaning ourselves because you never knew if you were going to run out. It was hard to deal with. And they're watching us. I remember sometimes they'd point at us and laugh. What's that about? Not giving soldier support just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Now, I don't know if I want to go forward right now. I don't know if I've really driven this home to you. So we crossed into Iraq and we drove, we're probably about 400 miles now. Guess I'd have to look it up to find out exactly the distance from Kuwait border to Baghdad, or just outside of Baghdad. We've carried 2 entire battalions of the 101st to different locations. We've done missions with them. We've cleared compounds with them and then got sent back unescorted, unradio, unmapped to where we came from. Every one of us took notes on everything we did to make sure that we could get back. We've been called resource leases. I've been MF'd. I've been threatened to get buried in a hole. I've had to wait till people went to sleep to get MREs and water. We've been treated like second-class scum to pond water. And we've had to move the units that treated us this way. But on the bright side, nobody's hurt. We've still got all the equipment. We've run into a first sergeant who actually gave a darn and made sure we got some stuff. We got to do some patrols. I broke a plate. I got a new plate. I saw more AK-47s than damn. Got into a little bit of this and that. nothing to make a movie about. But is it? I mean, we're on an airfield 20 miles south-ish of Baghdad. I say ish because I don't know if it was southwest, southeast, dead south. I remember I don't have a map. I don't have a radio. I don't have any way to communicate with anybody. I'm just there. And we are going to take in a lot of units the next day. A lot of units to Baghdad. This is going to keep going. We are sitting on an airfield. Now, we just got through securing a bridge. Who sends 4 or 5 tons with their people to secure a bridge and leaves them there for 8 hours? Who does that? Guess we should call this Operation FUBAR, because nobody could understand what was going on. Again, I thank you for listening to this. I hope you're understanding that this was an interesting adventure. This was everything we were taught not to do in the military. No communication, no support, no anything. Just do this and go away. Here, go do a mission for us. We're going to task you to do our mission, and we're going to get our soldiers some sleep. And no, you can't have any water. And no, you can't have MREs. And hell no, you can't have any fuel. All right, on our next episode, next Sunday, we're going to be at April 10th. Chapter 4 of the book, Baghdad by Truck. Again, thanks for your support. Remember, Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll is all about building a connection. It's all talking about how to stop, prevent, and get rid of the 22 soldiers' reason to commit suicide. We want to stop it. I want the 22 to stop. Stay with us. Listen, I went through this. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. Is it the hardest thing in the world? No. Did it suck? Hell yeah. It sucked big time. And it will continue to suck. That's all there is to it. But I want you to stay with us. I want you to keep on fighting with us. I want you to be with us. Please call somebody. Reach out to us. Send me a message. I'll talk to anybody. Don't leave. Don't give up. Everything can pass. And hey, if you want to be interviewed on the show, you want to talk about, you want to rattle your sword, tell people what you did, you want to rant, I don't care what you rant about. When we first started the show a couple months ago, I used to say, no, you have to talk about positive stuff. You know what? I don't care anymore. Rant about what you want to rant about, because everything about Forgotten Truckers is a rant about how the Army MF'd me and 30 other people's hard. So, you know what? We survived. I survived. I'm here. I made some of the closest friends of my life in this mission. I'm telling you. People I care about. We care about you. I care about you. I don't care if you're a bad place. Call me. I want to help you. Stop 22. Prevent 22. No more 22. All right? Thank you for your support. Again, this is Sergeant First Class Retired David L. Parker for Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll, signing out. I am out of here. You know what? If I'd have had a radio in Baghdad, I could have said that. This is Me 7 out.